We have arrived at the semi-finals, the final four of Launch Title Madness. In the prior episode, we seen Tekken Tag give an uppercut to F-Zero from the Super Nintendo. We also saw the zombies from Zombie U get neutralized by Mario in his 64-bit form, and what a shame it was. But he did move on. In the final four of Launch Title Madness, there is a lot of Mario going on. We have the original Super Mario Brothers from the Nintendo Entertainment System going head-to-head with Super Mario World from the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. We also see Tekken Tag from the PlayStation 2, the dark horse in the race, taking on the Nintendo 64's icon, Super Mario 64. How is this gonna shake out? Who are the finalists gonna be? I'm scratching my noggin trying to figure it out myself, and I'm sure you're doing the same. Stay tuned for this episode of the Final Four in Launch Title Madness.
Who are the Mario Brothers? All I can think of is the guy in the library, Mario Puzi.
Gaming off the grid, boom shakalaka!
Episode 16, Final Four, Life, Launch Title Madness. It's coming down to a close, man. This has been a really fun series. 4 bangers left in the bracket. We are going to determine who the final 2 contenders are in Launch Title Madness for the championship. But before we get there, we've got to discuss these freaking matchups.
This is going to be tough, and it's the semifinals, so I brought my decision-making shirt. Here with me today, assistant to the regional manager, Dwight K. Robert. That is me reporting for duty.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of families suffer every year.
This is going to be tough. The semifinals, the first lineup, we have Super Mario Bros. Versus Super Mario World. And then we have Tekken Tag Tournament versus Super Mario 64. A lot of Mario, a lot of Nintendo. Not surprised by it, because we love Nintendo. But I think we just jump into this first matchup. We have Super Mario Bros. Versus Super Mario World. And man, these games have been on a journey.
They have, you know, and we're not going to necessarily do the cutaway here that we've been doing. By now, you guys, if you've been watching the series, you know all about these games. But I do think it'd be fun to talk about each game's journey through this bracket. So Super Mario Brothers started off with kind of a layup. It beat Pilot Wings. Then in the next round, it faced probably the toughest matchup to date. It faced Halo from the original Xbox.
And that was a really tough decision.
We cut a lot of heat there. It didn't get a ton easier, little easier maybe, but it faced Sonic Adventure in the next round, and it prevailed. I think as it should, but now it faces its hardest matchup to date, probably the game that got everything right in the Mario series, Super Mario World, and it's had an interesting journey as well.
Yes, so Super Mario World started off this bracket facing Panzer Dragoon from the Saturn, which that was a tough matchup early on.
It was, and we love Panzer Dragoon, huge Panzer Dragoon. Like when the remake got announced, dude, we were ecstatic. Yeah.
So that was so tough. And then it went on to face Breath of the Wild. Super Mario World has been freaking nothing but hard lineups.
Yeah, and dude, we took a lot of heat for that one.
Yes, we did. And then it took on Luigi's Mansion. Another tough lineup.
Is there a harder road to this point?
No.
I don't think any game left in the Final Four has faced a harder road than Super Mario World.
It's been taking on games that are contenders for best games ever made.
Yeah.
And it's prevailed. And now it's against Super Mario Bros. From the NES. Let's talk about it. Let's debate it. Which Mario is moving on? The 8-bit version or the 16-bit version? This is tough.
This is really tough. There's a lot of things that have to be talked about here, a lot of things that have to be considered. What Super Mario Brothers on the NES did for video games, I don't think you can even put into words. I don't think folks can even in 2021 wrap their minds around the impact that this game had.
Yes.
We were coming out of, video games, at least in North America, at an all-time low. Atari with the 2600, the video game crash, I think maybe that's a little bit overblown, but nonetheless, it's still a thing worth noting. Maybe aside from Tetris, I gotta think, no data in front of me, but more people have played, or at the blink could recognize the songs from Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine when this game came out what people thought when they played it. When you lay this game up against the other games that launched with the NES, it's not even like what that game could do. Kind of the way the backgrounds worked, the graphics, the jumping, the running.
It revolutionized gaming.
And the fact that you still put this game in today and it delivers. Like, I love this game.
Super Mario Bros. Is the first game I ever played. It still holds up, and I'm still playing it today. I have an NES at home. I only have like 5 or 6 NES games, kind of like when I was growing up. And this is what I have, and this is what I put in all the time. 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to spare? Speed run it.
Yeah.
It's such a perfect game. It visually looks great. The music's amazing. It's so awesome. And back when it came out, people were like, what is going on?
Yeah.
The only Mario I know is Mario Poozy.
yeah. Well, we've heard that one before.
It's a direct quote.
Yes.
I think it's something in Japanese.
Without Super Mario Bros., we wouldn't have Super Mario World. But now we got to discuss Super Mario World.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting concept. You look at, like, what are the best cartoon characters of all time? I mean, maybe some have came out. Maybe you like Cartman more than you like Mickey Mouse. Maybe you like Hank Hill more than you like Bugs Bunny. But wow, the trail was blazed.
Yeah.
But Super Mario World took that trail and did its own kind of thing. It didn't just get there because Super Mario Brothers paved the way. It also had to deliver. It's an amazing game. I think across the board, at least in the circles that I hang out in, the debate is Super Mario 3 or Super Mario World for greatest Mario games ever made.
I think, honestly, Odyssey's probably up there, too.
It needs more time for me. I love it, but I always like things, whether it's a new book, new movie, whatever. I always like that moment to pass to where I don't feel like I could potentially be a prisoner of the moment. Like, I remember when Batman Begins came out, like, feeling like this is the best Batman movie I've ever seen. And over time, my compass has went back to Keaton's 89 Batman.
Yeah.
So I don't like going, overstretching and saying that stuff in the moment. But these two games are really, really, really tough to compare. There's probably no debate that the better game
Super Mario World.
is Super Mario World. The impact, however, on gaming and what it did for its respective console, I think is the pivotal point of how much weight do we give that versus how much weight we give of what is the better game.
This is so tough because throughout the bracket, it flows both ways.
Yeah.
We kind of lean towards the impact versus what we want to play in 2021 versus how we like it. So every episode, we're like, it's not a precise science.
It's not, but I will say this. So you touched on something there. What would we rather play in 2021? And as much as I love Super Mario World, personally, I play Super Mario Brothers way more.
Yeah, same. I don't even have a Super Nintendo at my house. Yikes, I know. That's.
I mean, you have a classic.
I have a classic,
yeah.
But I have an original NES, and I fire it up like once a week, and I play Super Mario.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the simplicity about it. But then Super Mario World, man, I remember when we started the channel and we did like we're still doing this Mario series, and when we got to Super Mario World, and we were trying to speed run it and no death run it and all this stuff. That was so much fun because there's so many things in that game that you could spend hours and weeks and years figuring out all the hidden stuff, all the different paths.
Part of me feels like when you look back at the Super Nintendo, Super Mario World doesn't quite leap out of the mix of games. Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
You've got your Mario RPG. You've got your Super Contra. You've got Super Castlevania. Super Mario World is epic. It's in this grouping of just amazing games. I just wonder, had Super Mario World had not came out at all, but Super Mario RPG did, Mario Kart did, Yoshi's Island. Would the Super Nintendo still have done well? Would they have been able to ride the coattails of Nintendo's NES success into the success of the Super Nintendo? And I can't help but thinking
That's a good question.
that it probably could have.
Yeah, because the Super Nintendo has such an amazing library. But also the NES does.
The NES does as well, but I just wonder with what Nintendo was pitted up against when they released the NES.
Yeah. They
Had Super Mario Brothers not happened, would it have had enough staying power to even get into some of those mid-generation or later releases of the NES, which really kind of cemented it? You know, would it even had the time to get to a Super Mario 3?
Probably not.
It's just interesting. It's very interesting. This, I think, is the toughest matchup we've had so far.
This is really tough.
My gut...
I have an answer.
I do too, and it's weird. This may be the first time where I'm like 100% Super Mario World's better. But Super Mario Brothers and what it did for video games and the level of icon and the pedestal that game is on.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think it has to move on. I think it's the winner here.
I'm sitting the exact same way. As much as I love Super Mario World, and it's arguably one of the best Mario games ever made, the original, the OG Super Mario Bros. On the NES is just a staple. And it could be because the way I was raised, the way I grew up with it, it was the first game I ever played.
And there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into it. Super Mario Bros. Is so awesome. And it did so much for gaming. I think it has to beat Super Mario World, but just barely.
Yeah, you know, Super Mario World, we're saying how great of a game it is. I think it's marginal. I mean, I don't think it's like this much better than the original.
No, they're all amazing.
You get the original, and then 2 was like, 3 was like, World's like, It's like incremental gains from a base that started off so well that everything could be built upon.
Yeah. The whole universe is built upon this game.
And, you know, when you go back to Mario Odyssey, the 2D levels in that, it's not the freaking Super Mario World art style.
No, it's the original.
It's not Super Mario 3's art style. It's not, you don't get Mario 64's art style. The nostalgia hook was set with Super Mario Brothers. Everybody knows that game. Everybody's played that game. I really, truly believe if you had to go globally, more people have played Tetris and Super Mario Brothers than any other video game. And I could be way wrong on that.
I think so. So many people that aren't even gamers have played Super Mario Bros.
I think you take the top 5 tracks or soundtrack bits from Super Mario Brothers and have somebody listen to them, or a group, and take the top 5 tracks from Super Mario World and have a group listen to them. I think you're gonna have higher hit rates on Super Mario Brothers.
I think instantly, within a second, people will be like,
it doesn't even have to be the main one. You could give somebody doodle doodle doodle,
and they go, "Oh, it's Mario."
Yeah, it's Mario.
Yeah, it's just pop culture at its finest.
Yeah.
Super Mario Bros. Is advancing to the finals in launch title Madness, which this series has been going on for so long. It's crazy. We're almost to the end. It's insane.
We got some special things in store for the final, by the way.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
There will not be a beer review in that episode.
There'll be something else.
Yeah.
But now we got to decide who Super Mario Bros. Is going to go against in this next matchup. Tekken Tag Tournament on the PS2, which shockingly is still alive.
Yeah.
I am so surprised by this.
Yeah.
But this game is amazing. Against my least favorite Mario game ever, Super Mario 64. Let's look at the journey these guys have been on because it also has been an insane journey. So Tekken Tag actually started off in the preliminary rounds.
Yeah, it got a bad draw. Yeah, it really did, because it had to have one more matchup.
It had to have one more, and it's still alive.
Yeah. And a tough matchup it was. Zelda Twilight Princess, which was the Wii variant.
Yeah, the Wii variant, yeah.
A lot of people were kind of, not on our side on this one, but, Twilight Princess, best version is not the Wii version.
Nope.
It was a launch title. The game plays better on the GameCube. The game plays better on the Wii U. It just, I think Tekken Tag had to move on. Kind of got a layup in the next round, I feel like, Alex Kidd, great franchise, not the best launch title on the Sega Genesis.
No, the game sucks.
So it just goes, Hadouken! Then it went up against SSX, which we love the SSX series.
Which is another PS2 launch title. That's its counterpart in this series.
Yeah, but SSX, great launch title, but had way better offerings than Tekken Tag. In our opinions, one of the best Tekkens ever made. So it moved on. It went against F-Zero on the Super Nintendo. A great game.
But not the best in the series.
Did not have what it took or takes to take out Tekken Tag. And so now here we are today. Tekken Tag is going up against Super Mario 64.
And Super Mario 64 started off this tournament with an easy matchup, I feel like, against Rise from the Xbox One. Rise is a great game, but it doesn't even compare to Super Mario 64. Then Super Mario 64, in one of the toughest matchups in Launch Title Madness, went against Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast. This was so tough for me to say because you were picking Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
I was picking Super Mario 64 even though I didn't want to.
Yeah, we almost got in a fight over that.
And the comment section was mad at me.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, how do you get mad at this guy?
I was so shocked by that because I was trying to defend you guys, and people were like, you shouldn't try and stick with your guns.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, in advance.
I'll show you some guns. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. And then Super Mario 64 went against Zombie U, which Zombie U is one of our favorite Wii U games. It's an awesome game, but it didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, we love Zombie U, but we really love one game mode.
Yeah, it's just the mastermind one. It's like a party game.
We're like, okay.
And party game versus an N64 launch title that's revolutionary. So it's had its ups and downs, Mario 64. It almost got cut off halfway through, but it's in the final four against Tekken Tag Tournament. This is crazy. Such two completely different games. And I'm just so shocked that Tekken Tag Tournament's still alive because we don't like fighting games.
Well, and I'm shocked that, honestly, Super Mario 64 even is here as well. But I understand it. And I think
because of its impact.
I think we've done a fairly good job of trying to keep our bias out of this. Some of you might disagree with that, but behind the scenes, we're not huge Mario 64 fans. You might already know that. We're not, and we've had people say, "Oh, you guys hate the N64." We don't hate the N64. Check out the table.
Yeah, it's in
Check out the
every
collection.
episode.
I have tons of nostalgia for the N64, but you got to understand, I guess my personal stance, and I think yours as well, is outside of the top 10 games, the N64 is dog shit.
Maybe 15.
Maybe 15. But you get, there's 64 games we play on the reg, still to this day. But comparatively to a lot of other consoles, the amount of games we love on it are far less.
Yes.
So I don't hate the N64. I don't hate Mario 64. We even put it in our top 10 N64 games video that we did a while back.
And I almost didn't even want to.
But my problem with Mario 64 is that people, constantly say it's the best Mario game ever. And it's like, no, it's fucking not.
They put it on this pedestal.
It's not.
And it's the only reason they're putting it up there is because of what it did for 3D Mario, because of nostalgia, because of all these reasons that have nothing to do with the game.
You go back and play Mario 64 now on the N64. Go back, go for 120 stars. Yeah, the game's kind of fun. Woohoo, I'm jerking off getting stars. And you get 20, 30 stars, you're like, oh, I'm having fun. Wait till go for 120 stars and tell me you had fun.
We just recently got a comment on our Super Mario 64 video, because we did a video about it once we beat out 120 stars, and this guy was saying that, man, he really likes Mario 64, he's new to it, this is his first time ever playing it, but he even said he's loving it, but he will not go for 120 stars.
Yeah, it's fun if you're just, playing it, dicking around, but when you really dial into that game
and want to 100% it sucks.
It's maddening.
It drives you nuts.
That's neither here nor there. Yeah. Probably not painting the best picture for Mario 64, and then Tekken Tag. The Tekken series, I think there are probably some really hardcore fighting game fans, which we've said this many a time, we are not. Maybe like some other Tekken games more than this one, but we love the tag element. I think this is by far and away the best PlayStation 2 launch title. Now, when you look at the whole PS2, this game probably falls down, maybe makes the top 20 of PS2 games of all time. But for that group of 20 plus launch titles on the PS2,
this is a staple.
Yeah, this one goes up there. If I was getting a PS2 today, knowing what I know now, I would have got Madden 2001 and tried this game. Try what would have happened.
Dude, this game is badass. Up to 4 players because of the tag element, and if you're not a fighting fan, if you're like, oh, I don't like fighting, but I like other sports. What other sports are there? Bowling. You can bowl in this game. So that's just extra value. The bowling is... It's so funny they added that because they didn't need to do that. No. Why did they... They were just having fun, I think, in development. Good time. But that just makes that game even better.
Yeah, I think it's a great game. Going head-to-head, though, with Mario 64. This is where the rubber meets the road.
This is really tough. Because I am not a fan of fighting games. I'm not a fan of Mario 64.
Yeah.
So how do I pick between the two games? I've been such a fan of Tekken Tag, though.
Yeah.
But I've also fought for Mario 64 in ways that I've never fought before.
Memory is a little off, but I think there were like 26 launch titles on the PS2. Something like that. 22, 26.
There was 2 on the N64.
So the impact, just because of sheer numbers for Tekken Tag, had nowhere near the impact. Now, the PS2 is one of the greatest selling consoles of all time. N64, far from it. But there's really no cultural impact for Tekken Tag.
No, and that's not... It's... Mario 64 is only so big because it's the only thing you could play.
Yeah.
You could get Pilot Wings, was the other game for it.
Pilot Wings 64, Super Mario 64. Wasn't a lot to go with there. And there was actually a comment recently that's like, oh, you didn't put Pilot Wings 64 in there. That's probably my fault because it was in there. But I do think the narrative on some of these episodes, as I read Pilot Wings, I just assume Super Nintendo. Yeah. But the 2 Super Nintendo entries were Super Mario World and F-Zero.
And F-Zero, yep.
Mario 64, Pilot Wings 64. I just assume Pilot Wings, Super Nintendo. So I probably said it wrong in some episodes, but it was in there if you're watching.
And it got eliminated immediately.
Yeah, because I think it went up against Super Mario Brothers. So obviously it would not be in there.
It was gone.
So you got those 2 launch titles on the N64 versus 20 plus on the PlayStation 2. What's your gut, man? Just off the wrist, what are you feeling?
This is tough because I don't have a gut answer. Like, the last matchup was super tough, but I had an answer for it.
Yeah.
This one, I don't. Because I don't have any nostalgia for Tekken Tag. I have nostalgia for Super Mario 64. I grew up playing it. I love the 64. But they're both in this boat where I'm like, this is weird. This is a weird lineup. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Mario 64. I think the impact it had. I think the lasting impact it had. I think as much as I'm not a big fan of Mario 64, I would probably put Mario 64 in the, definitely top 10 Mario games of all time. It would not make my top 5 Mario games of all time. But, it's tough because if I have to bring somebody back to the N64,
you're not going to show them Mario 64.
I probably would in the top 10 games. If I had to bring somebody back to the PS2 and really get them to fall in love with it, I don't know that I would put them on Tekken Tag. There's a lot of games I would put them on.
That's what makes it tough. Is like the Mario 64 library, we only like 10 games.
Yeah.
The PS2 library, we like probably 50.
Yeah. Maybe more.
Yeah. So it's like there's all these unfair advantages.
Yeah.
But Tekken Tag has made it this far. I hate doing this. I just hate this, but I think I have to agree.
Yeah.
Mario 64. I mean,
I think
I should have.
I know the PS2 way outsold the N64, but I think you bought an N64 because of Mario 64.
Yeah.
That's why you bought one. It was one of your 2 options. That was what everybody was getting. I think Tekken Tag and a lot of it determined on what type of games you were into. Were you going, are you a sports fan? You're probably buying Madden. You're a racing fan? You're probably buying one of the racing games. You like arcade sports? Probably buying SSX. You're a fighting game fan? You were buying Tekken Tag.
So it's very niched down.
Yeah, Mario 64 will be talked about forever. The legacy around it, whether we agree with it or not, which typically we don't. It's just more of an impactful launch title. That's just my thought on it.
It is. But here's a question. We've talked about all these different reasons. What game would we much rather play in 2021?
I'd much rather play Tekken Tag.
Does that have any impact?
I think it does. But I don't think it can trump
the launch title
impact and the cultural impact that Mario 64
That's what makes this series and this franchise so tough.
No, it's I think all these things are worth considering, and I think we've done a good job of doing that. But they're all weighted, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we would rather play Tekken Tag, but like the legacy, cultural impact, it's just
And
on the scale that just...
How often did we play Tekken Tag Tournament on the PS2 before this series started?
I mean, here and there, but not a ton.
Not really, but how often do I go back and play Mario 64? I only really played it for that episode because I just can't stand it anymore.
yeah.
This sucks, and I hate saying it, because it's got to move on to the final, Super Mario 64. It makes me upset that I fought for it back then. It should have been out. Soul Calibur should be here, man.
It'd have fighting game versus fighting game, probably.
But that's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So the finals of Launch Title Madness, Super Mario Bros. On the OG NES versus Super Mario 64 on the N64.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
I did the beginning of this. We tried doing our best job throughout this whole thing to not really look ahead and whatever. I guess I would have never thought it would have shooken out like this, but...
I would have never thought Mario 64 would make it in the finals.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was going to be out immediately.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
I think going back, looking at it here just in a quick glance, I think with the bracket being randomly generated.
Yeah, it had kind of an easy road.
I think we have a good finals.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Nintendo versus Nintendo. What's crazy is looking back at our Console Madness miniseries, it was PS2 versus NES. And now we have NES versus N64.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's kind of cool, like comparing, like just
for sure.
Fun.
What do you guys think is going to happen in the finals?
Hey, let us know in the comments below.
For sure.
I think most people are going to pick the same thing. But
we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Let's talk about this beer by Franklin Street. This is Mango Fett. It's a mango New England styled IPA
out of Manchester,
Iowa. What do you think?
I mean, mine's almost gone. I think it's really good. There's a lot of pineapple going on here. Very citrusy IPA.
So we've had this beer a few times before. It's been on the channel. We actually rebought it because we drank through it all. My initial thoughts when I was having it before we reviewed it was, man, I really like this beer. This beer is really citrusy, very mango-y, very smooth, pretty good. But now as we're drinking it, this is probably the third or fourth time I've had it. Maybe because I've had this bar set in my head that it's really good. It's not as good as that bar that I had set. I'm kind of disappointed in that aspect, but it's still really good.
Yeah, I know it says mango, but I'm getting like something else. There's some other fruit coming through. And I think I said pineapple already. I get a little bit of a pineapple vibe from it.
I can see that. Yeah,
it reminds me of like a pineapple juice.
Yeah, I can see that.
I like it. I enjoy it.
It's a good,
probably
easy
7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, nice, easy drinker.
Not one of the best beers I've ever had, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, and I love the can art, and I love like the Star Wars referencing.
Yep.
Mango Fett, Django Fett.
Definitely enjoyed it. And, the fact that we, drank through it before we could review it and had to buy it again, that says something for it.
Yeah, that does say a lot. So
we have a lot of good IPAs on the channel. This just isn't one of the top shelf ones. So
it's just this is a good summer beer, nice and refreshing, light. Pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, we are heading into the finals of Launch Title Madness. We're not going to do a beer review in that episode. We are going to go out and buy something that we probably shouldn't. We're either going to have an epic bottle of scotch or some sort of bourbon or whiskey to celebrate the end of the series, which I don't think we've done a ton of whiskey reviews on the channel, so that'll be fun. Another passion of ours. But we are going to see Super Mario Brothers on the NES versus Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64.
Wow.
A match made in heaven, or as Bowser might say, a match made in hell. But nonetheless, we're going to have to figure out what the greatest launch title is of all time. Make sure you hit us up in the comment section below. Let us know, do you agree with the decisions in this episode? Who do you think is going to win in the finals? We love chopping it up with you guys in the comment section, saying, no, you're wrong. What? No, you're wrong. What? No, this guy's wrong. What? That's what makes this series so fun. We're really having fun with it. It's kind of sad to see it coming to a close, but all good things come to an end.
Whoa.
We'll see you next time right here on Launch Title Madness on the one and only Gaming Off the Grid.
Yeah.
Whoa, let's go. I got my jammed finger hurt still. Ooh.
Mango Fett.
God.
What'd you do to your finger?
This is from the baseball day.
You jammed your finger that day?
Yeah.
On what?
When I, one of those like pop flies, I was trying to catch it and it fucking just like fucked me up. This has been a very divisive mini-series, and we love chopping it up in the comments saying, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. What?